Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reel Me In, a movie podcast where you didn't really ask for it, but hey, I'm going to give it to you anyways. This is a podcast where I talk about anything, everything, anything about movies. I'm your host, Chase Lee, and hey, guys, listen, this is episode 125. That is amazing. That's just spectacular on many, many levels because I never thought I'd make it this far. But if you are new to this show, welcome. What I do is I cover some movie news, some movie trailers that came out during the week. I'll have reviews of specific movies that come out on the weekend that I am recording on, and then I'll have my box office results for the weekend. So it's a lot of fun. So if you are a returning listener, thank you for coming back. Before we begin, if you're watching on YouTube and you want an audio-only version of this podcast, then link will be in the description below. If you are listening on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, iTunes, all that jazz, and you want a video version of the podcast and you want to see this glorious setup I have behind me, then link will be in the description below. And I think that's it. So how you guys doing? You guys doing pretty good? It's been an interesting week with movies. It's just there was a lot that came out, but a lot were more limited release. And I'm going to talk about one of them that I saw at South by Southwest, and it kind of opens this week. So I figured I'd talk about that. So this week on episode 125, I will have my reviews of Demolition starring Jake Gyllenhaal and my review of Hardcore Henry starring Charlton Copley. So let's begin. Movie news, here we go. All right. So a lot came out this week in terms of movie news, and I had to really kind of pick and choose and see which ones I wanted to talk about, and I have 7 stories. All right. And some of them will just fly by. They're just there for you guys. I can't really comment on all of them for about 10 minutes. The first one is that Sicario, great kind of drug film. It was very suspenseful, very tension-filled. I love Denis Villeneuve's films. He did Prisoner, he did Enemy, and then he did Sicario. So the news is that Sicario is going to get a sequel with the same cast. So Emily Blunt, Benicio del Toro, and Josh Brolin are going to return. Why are we getting a sequel to this? Now, listen, the first one was really good. It kind of ended on a perfect, creepy note. I kind of wish it would just stay there. At the same time, I can see them expanding the story, and maybe like there's another drug lord they got to go take down, or maybe there's some more espionage within the good side and the bad side. I don't know. You could actually create a different story and stuff and put it in the same universe. But why though? I can look it up real fast as I'm talking, but I don't think Sicario did like that well for a sequel to be made. So looking it up right now. All right. So it did pretty well. Sicario cost about $30 million, and it made about $80 million worldwide. So when you double the budget, that's how much it needs to break even. So it made about $20 million profit, which is actually really good considering the fact that Denis Villeneuve's films, Prisoner did very, very well, but then Enemy did not do so well. Enemy made $3 million worldwide. That's bad. People need to go see that one. But yeah, so Sicario did make a little bit of money, and so I understand the business sense of it, because Lionsgate goes, well, we don't have anything else, so fuck it, let's make another one. But why though? I don't know. It's just Sicario just seemed like that type of movie that was perfectly ended, but then again, at the same time, I can see them expanding, a different type of mission they have to go through, and you could really have a lot more character depth with Emily Blunt, considering how the fact the first one ended, it could really affect her. So, I mean, there's a lot you could do. I really don't want it because I don't think Denis Villeneuve is coming back to direct, because he's directing Blade Runner 2 right now. He's going to be very busy for a very long time. So I can't see him coming back unless they do it after Blade Runner 2, which I'm totally fine with. So Denis Villeneuve, if they're going to even touch a Sicario sequel, for the love of everything that is holy, can you please come back and make it? But if not, just don't make it bad, because then you're going to make the first one look bad. So that's the first piece of news. The second piece of news, speaking of Blade Runner 2, Dave Bautista, who plays Drax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he plays a henchman in Spectre, he is casted in this movie. And I like what Dave is doing, because besides Dwayne Johnson and maybe John Cena for a little bit. Not really any big name wrestlers have made a long career out of acting. Now, there's been many wrestlers that have made made movies, like maybe one or two, but that's about it. So no one's really had like a long kind of career as a full-fledged actor, because let's face it, all you WWE fans, it's a stage play. They're all acting. I know. For all those people that thought it was real, like my friend Darren, Darren thinks it's real. He thinks it's 100%. No, I'm kidding. He's not that dumb. So they're already actors, but it's very rare to see wrestlers succeed beyond the WWE. Dave Bautista is one of them. He's actually the second most popular besides Dwayne Johnson now, just considering the fact that not only is he Spectre, that was the highest grossing movie, Guardians of the Galaxy was a high grossing movie, Blade Runner 2 is probably going to do really well. The guy's making really great decisions. And yes, he's not like the best actor in the world, but what I saw in Guardians of the Galaxy was I saw hope. I saw a little bit of genuine acting there. I was like, oh, he's actually really good. He was very sarcastic. He was funny. He was actually very funny with those one-liners he was throwing at Chris Pratt or Rocket Raccoon or something. So I really liked him in Guardians of the Galaxy. And Spectre, he's whatever. He had one line. It's not dialogue based for him, but the presence that he had in Spectre as a gigantic henchman, I bought. So him in Blade Runner 2, I find really fascinating. Like, who the hell is he going to play? Is he going to play another henchman? But if he does, like, just make him even more mean, I guess. But I'm really curious to see what he's going to do and if he's going to have, like, more speaking lines or whatever. Because as of right now, Guardians of the Galaxy, that's his most speaking role. And then I would say, well, and he's really threatening in that one. And the Spectre, like I said, he's just got the presence. But I'm really curious to see what he's going to do in Blade Runner 2. But if Denis Villeneuve has tied to something, he can pull great performances out of all of his actors. Look at Hugh Jackman in Prisoners. Look at Jake Gyllenhaal in Enemy. Look at Emily Blunt and Benicio del Toro in Sicario. The guy's amazing in director, so the fact that he was a part of this decision kind of makes me excited to see Dave Bautista expand his horizons a bit. And I'm excited to see him in Guardians of the Galaxy too, by the way. All right. The next piece of news, speaking of casting, we're going to continue on the casting train for a little bit. Cillian Murphy, however you pronounce your name. If it's Cillian, then I'm going to be scared of you because it sounds like a serial killer. If it's Cillian, it's adorable, and I want to meet you. But anyways, I think it's Cillian. I think it's Cillian Murphy. Anyways, he's the guy that plays Scarecrow in Batman Begins. He was also in Red Eye. The guy's like pretty much like he will be sprinkled in a movie and no one will fucking know it's him unless someone says, "Oh yeah, that's Cillian Murphy from Red Eye and like the Batman movies." So he's worked with Christopher Nolan several times. He was in Inception. He was in all three of the Batman movies. Even though I don't really count The Dark Knight as a full-on role because it was more of a cameo, but he has worked with Christopher Nolan before, and he's going to be he got casted in Dunkirk, which is Christopher Nolan's war film. I am so fucking stoked for this movie because not only is Christopher Nolan a very creative and ambitious director, just looking at Inception, he is very consistent. I haven't really disliked any of his movies. I haven't. Dark Knight Rises, I will back that up. I think it's still a solid, good movie, even with its little loose threads in there. I like Interstellar quite a bit. Even though the ending is kind of underwhelming, I still think it's a solid movie. Notice how I didn't say I was like super ecstatic for it, but I still think it's solid. I haven't disliked any of his movies. I love Insomnia. Prestige is probably my favorite one of his. Memento is a classic. The guy's on fire. And the fact that he's doing I think it's a World War I film, I'm so stoked. Christopher Nolan plus a war film. It's just, you don't get any better than that. I think it comes out next summer, I believe, July 2017. But the fact that Cillian Murphy is coming back in a Christopher Nolan picture, that just shows you that Christopher Nolan has a good working relationship with him. And that always excites me. Like when you see Leonardo DiCaprio come back to a Martin Scorsese or Johnny Depp go back to a Tim Burton, regardless of what you think of the latter half of their movies, they still trust those actors and they have a good relationship with them. And that gives me confidence in the movie to know that Christopher Nolan is not playing around. He's going to get the best actors for this movie. And if Cillian Murphy fits one of the roles, he's going to put him in there because, one, he might have knocked it out of the park in the audition room, and two, he knows him, and he's had a good working relationship with him. So I'm excited to see Cillian Murphy. He's always a really he's an underrated actor. No one really ever talks about him. Like, yeah, he was fine in Scarecrow in the Batman movies with Christian Bale, but I really do like him in Red Eye. He is a creepy mother effer in that movie for sure. And Rachel McAdams, I feel you, because he's absolutely terrifying in that movie. So that is that piece of news. So moving on to another casting piece of news. Charlize Theron, one of the most beautiful and talented actresses in the world. She has won her Oscar for Monster. I never saw that one, but she looks very terrifying in it, playing a real-life murderer. She is going to be in Fast 8. You know, here's the deal, folks. When the first Fast and Furious came out in 2001, I was a wee little fat kid in 5th grade, and I never would have thought in a million years, because that was in 2001. It is 2016. This franchise has been going on for 15 years now. I never would have thought in a million years that this thing would grow into a gigantic franchise, and grabbing all these actors to be in the movie, like Jason Statham or Luke Evans or Kurt Russell, now Charlize Theron. What the? This is great, man. Listen, are the Fast and Furious movies like the most Oscar caliber movies in the world? No, they're not. But I have a lot of fun with them. They are bombastic. They're over the top. They have some great action set pieces, especially in number 7. Ridiculous as some of them may be, it's still amazing to watch, especially in IMAX. And you are not human if you tell me you did not shed a tear at the end of Furious 7. I refuse to believe that you did not shed a tear. I shed a tear. That was actually a really perfect ending, by the way, for that movie, which I never would have thought I'd say with the Fast and Furious movie. But I love how the franchise is growing. It's just getting bigger and bigger. And when you add people like a Charlize Theron or like a Kurt Russell or whatever, it kind of makes you happy that like something as ridiculous as the Fast and Furious is succeeding. People love it. They get all these actors and actresses to be a part of it. It's amazing. I'm really excited to see her be in this movie because I think she plays a villain, which is going to be interesting. I never saw Snow White and the Huntsman, but everyone says that she's pretty good in it as a villain. So I'm more curious about this than anything, but I will buy anything with Charlize Theron in it because I think she is not only is she very gorgeous, but she's very, very talented. Everything I see her in, she knocks it out of the park. I don't even with like one of my favorite ones she did was did you guys ever see Young Adult? She was the star in that. She was kind of in her 30s, and she goes back to her hometown. She tries to reclaim her glory, and it's like, I know people like that, and it's kind of depressing to watch. But she was really good in that, and I was like, Charlize, God, just stop. You're just too good. But she was really good in that, and I thought the Dark Places movie, the most recent one she did, was okay, but she was really good in it. So her being in Fast and Furious 8, sign me the fuck up. I'm totally down for this. So Charlize Theron, keep doing your thing. All right, so that's it for the casting announcements for the movie news. All right, let's get into let's do some release news, and that would be that Silence, the movie directed by Martin Scorsese, and it stars Andrew Garfield, Liam Neeson. It's going to be released in November. Finally. Now, this movie was done in May of last year, and they pushed it to this year because the Oscars were too stacked. They didn't want to release it and compete with the other movies or whatnot. So they're finally going to release it this year in time for this Oscar season in November. I don't know the exact day, but if you're a Martin Scorsese fan like I am, mark your calendars. November, Silence is coming. I believe this is the movie. I forgot what it's about, but it's definitely about religion, and Marty Scorsese is going to tackle religious themes and stuff, which will be interesting, because I don't think he's really done that since The Last Temptation of Christ. I believe that's what the movie's called, with Willem Dafoe. I never saw the movie, but I do know that Martin Scorsese did that one. But Scorsese is one of my favorite directors ever, and I will literally watch anything that he does. I love The Wolf of Wall Street, Goodfellas, Casino, Shutter Island. Let me turn around and look at my collection Raging Bull is a classic. The Departed, and then of course I bought Mean Streets the other day at a pawn store for $1, and I started it, and I really liked it, but I fell asleep. It's not because the movie was boring; it's because I was tired. So just no, it wasn't because of the movie. So yeah, Mean Streets was really good for the first 20 minutes I saw it, so I'll finish that. But Scorsese is a classic filmmaker. He will go on as one of the best of all time, and I cannot wait for Silence. I'm looking forward to it. November release. Check your calendars, son. All right. Next piece of news is that Doctor Strange wrapped up principal photography, which means they're done with production, and now they're moving into full-on beast mode in post-production. But make no mistake, they've been working on like special effects and other stuff for other shots that they've shot already, and they've been working on those while they shoot the last half of production and stuff. So that's how it works. But now that they're all done with shooting, they are now going to go into post-production, which is, special effects, music, sound editing, sound design, ADR, just all that stuff you can think of. That's what they're full on in now, which I'm super excited because it comes out in November as well. But they had some photos released of Benedict Cumberbatch and Chiwetel Ejiofor running down New York City like in their full-on garb and their costumes and stuff, and it looks amazing. I'm really glad that Doctor Strange is set in kind of modern time. Now, I'm not the biggest Doctor Strange enthusiast. I'm not. I bought a comic at an antique store like a while back, and it was a Doctor Strange issue, so I will read that in preparation for this. I have no idea what the issue is about, but I picked it up because I'm starting to collect more comics now, and I know for a fact that Doctor Strange is a strange character. Pun intended. So this movie is going to be balls to the wall, like LSD trip, acid reflux, not acid, acid trip. The acid reflux trip. That would be awful for 2 hours. But it's going to be a strange movie, and I'm really curious to see how they're going to set it in modern time and set it with all the other Marvel movies in the cinematic universe. So I'm looking forward to it, hands down. But of course, we got to do Civil War first. And that comes out in a month, by the way. My skin's shaking. All right. But yeah, the photos look cool. The other cool thing about it was when they got done filming, Benedict Cumberbatch went into a comic book store and he purchased a Doctor Strange comic book in the store, dressed as Doctor Strange. Come on. That's pretty cool. And for all you guys wondering, when's the fucking trailer coming out? My head's about to explode. I'm totally with you. The first trailer is going to drop at the time of this recording, which is Sunday at 11:37 a.m. The trailer will drop Tuesday night, which is, let me pull up my calendar because obviously I can't count days, the 12th. So it's going to drop on the 12th on Jimmy Kimmel's talk show. So which means when they drop it next week, it will probably play in front of Civil War as well. So I don't even care if it's just a teaser. Well, I hope it's more than a teaser, but even if it's just like a little bit of footage with some graphics and some music, I'm sold, as long as it's good, because I'm really looking forward to something different in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. No, trust me. As you can see from the poster over there, I also have every single Marvel Cinematic movie from Disney. I love it. I love their universe. Every time I see a new movie of theirs, it feels fresh. Ant-Man felt fresh. I loved Age of Ultron even more than the first Avengers. I'm not saying all of them are perfect, but I do enjoy all of them. And I like watching Ant-Man. I was like, man, that felt so different from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but at the same time, it also fits. Doctor Strange is going to be the same way. It's going to feel fresh, and I cannot wait to see it November. Mark your dates, kids. All right. And the last piece of news is that, did you hear my voice crack? And the last piece of news is some posters were released for 3 different movies. I'm going to run them down real fast. Kingsman: The Golden Circle had their poster released. It's kind of like a teaser poster. And I'm not going to tell you what it says on the poster, but it kind of hints the return of a certain character from the first one. That's why I want to kind of skip around this one, because I don't want to run into any spoilers in case you haven't seen it. But if you haven't seen Kingsman: The Secret Service, go see it. It's a great action movie. It is balls to the wall violent. It is so much fun. It's stylistic. It just kind of grabs you by the throat and does not let go. My girlfriend actually watched it for the first time. What was it, last month? We watched it together, and she said she liked it. So I don't know. Did I tell her that a sequel's coming out? I don't think I did. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible boyfriend, especially with all my movie knowledge. I'm terrible. All right, so, but the poster, it just has some wording on it, and it just says Kingsman: The Golden Circle. But I think it's amazing that they're already starting to advertise for this movie, and it doesn't even come out until next year. It's so great. I'm really looking forward to Kingsman: The Golden Circle. And the cool thing is about the movie is that the first one came out Valentine's Day weekend last year in 2015, competing with 50 Shades of Grey, which is funny. But this one, the sequel, is going to come out in June. So I find that kind of interesting that they have that much confidence, 20th Century Fox does, to place it in the summer the summer fray of movies. So I'm totally down for it. The next set of posters I want to talk about are X-Men Apocalypse, and they released standalone character posters. So you got Storm, Mystique, Magneto, Cyclops, Nightcrawler. You got a bunch of them on there. Psylocke, Olivia Munn. They look okay. They're not like screaming out to me. The posters I've liked for Apocalypse in the past, there was this really cool one with the Apocalypse in the forefront and the Four Horsemen in the back. That one kind of looked cool. But these standalone character posters don't really do anything for me, so I'm going to have to pass on those. But I'm really looking forward to the movie because just like with the Marvel Cinematic Universe from Disney, I'm a huge X-Men nut as well. I got all the movies. Yes, even Origins Wolverine. Don't be scared now. All right, so yeah. Huge X-Men fan, so I'm looking forward to Apocalypse, but the posters don't really do anything for me, but I'm still looking forward to it. And the last set of posters and the last piece of news for the week is they released standalone character posters for Warcraft, the World of Warcraft movie. I really like them a lot. Now, listen, I played the game for a total of 10 minutes, and if you think I'm exaggerating, I'm not. My friend in college, he played it nonstop. This was the type of guy that literally would fix a sandwich, go back to his computer, and then, oh God, I gotta go take a pee. He'll go take a pee, get a Mountain Dew, go back to his computer and keep on playing and stuff. And he gets super addicted to it. But I started an account and I played it for 10 minutes and I was like, yeah, I'm not wasting my life with this, sorry. So I can't really speak on behalf of the game on how accurate it is to the movie, the way it looks so far. But what I can tell you is that the posters look really awesome. I like the way the orcs look. I like the way the humans look. It looks like it's going to be just a really cool, giant battle of a movie. I'm expecting kind of like a better version of Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies type of battle, because I like the Hobbit trilogy very well, actually. And the third one's okay. I do enjoy it, but the second one's still my favorite. But the battle is what I'm expecting Warcraft will be with the orcs and the humans and stuff. But those posters look really cool, like the way the orcs looked and just look very brooding and powerful, and the humans look, oh shit, I'm scared, but not really. We're gonna go attack. So yeah, those posters I'm okay with. That would probably be my favorite out of the batch this week. All right, so what did you guys think of the movie news this week? Comment in the place where up on my face and let me know. So let's jump into some trailers that came out. There were 3 of them that dropped, and one of them is really fucking weird. One of them is very mystical, and one of them people will cream their pants over with. But I'm going to come out with you with a different perspective since I'm not a huge fan of the franchise, but I'm a casual fan. Okay, so let's start with Swiss Army Man. Now this stars Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. Okay, if you think I'm making this up, I'm not. Paul Dano's about to kill himself on an island, and when he hangs himself, he realizes there's a dead body that washes up on the shores of the beach, and so he cuts the rope or whatever, or he falls down, and he goes up to the body. It's dead. It farts, and that's how the trailer starts. And throughout the whole entire trailer, we have Paul Dano using Daniel Radcliffe in very mystical ways, such as chopping down tree branches or using him as one of those grabbers that old people use when they can't reach stuff out of their cabinets and stuff, getting stuff out of a tree. It's a really fucking weird trailer. but I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. And it's weird as hell. And I'm into those weird ass movies because the only thing I heard about Swiss Army Man was when it was at Sundance and people started walking out because they labeled it as the farting corpse movie, which, yes, that was how the trailer opened. But overall, the way the trailer was constructed, it felt very magical and it felt very kind of surreal and sad at the same time because Paul Dano was on this island by himself. There's my Texas country accent. Yeah, so he's by himself and whatnot, and he finds Daniel Radcliffe as a friend, but then the corpse starts talking to him. So at this point, you can start to think that he's losing his mind and he doesn't really have that many friends, and he's trying to grasp onto this corpse because he doesn't really have any friends and stuff. And it could... I think this movie will probably, like the way the trailer is presented, I'm not going by what people said at Sundance, but the way the trailer is presented, it looks like they have a lot of heart to it, like an extreme amount of heart to it, but also being like that kind of like weird, dark comedy type of realm as well. As long as they blend it well together, I think I might really like this a lot, but I really like the trailer. It was weird, kooky, and fucked up, but I enjoyed it. So Swiss Army Man, Daniel Radcliffe plays a farting corpse that talks and chops down trees with his body. All right, the next trailer I want to talk about is the BFG, and this is the Steven Spielberg film, and basically it's about a bunch of giants walking through a city, stealing children and eating them. They don't do that part, but the giant takes the kid to his world and stuff, and it's very mystical, it's magical and stuff. It looks okay. I haven't really been excited for this movie at all. I'm a huge Steven Spielberg fan. Come on. E.T., Jaws, the Indiana Jones movies, Schindler's List is one of my favorites of all time, Jurassic Park. The guy is a classic director. I'm not really looking forward to this. It's like, maybe if the reviews are good, but I'm not really looking forward to it. But it does look like it's got kind of like that Hook vibe to it, which Steven Spielberg did direct, so that's what it kind of looks like to me. And everyone's complaining about the special effects because Mark Rylance, who just won his Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in The Bridge of Spies, which Steven Spielberg also directed, he plays one of the giants, and he's definitely mocapped, but like they stretched the giant out or whatever, and he looks like an old frail man that owns a shoe store, and he's got Mark Rylance's faces on the giant and everything. He looks fine, and the movie doesn't come out for another couple of months, so they could clean up the effects by then, but the trailer doesn't really do it for me, honestly. But if you like those type of like Peter Pan type movies, I mean, I love Peter Pan, but like I said, this one does not grab me. But if you like those type of movies, or if you have kids and like they're into those type of movies, I think the Big Friendly Giant, the BFG, will do it for you and stuff. Just for me personally, not for me, even though I do like some of the special effects in the trailer, so I will give it that. And the last trailer, the one that everyone wants to fucking hear me talk about, because I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, I'm going to talk about Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Okay, so me being not a hardcore Star Wars fan, I realize that I get chastised by people. That's okay. Because for all you people that don't know, like, I don't know if I've said this before, but my uncle, he is a huge Star Wars fan, and he grew up in that time era where, because I think he was born like around like The Empire Strikes Back came out and stuff. So, or it might have been before. I don't know. I'm terrible. Oh wait, no, he was like, see, I'm an idiot with numbers. He was like 10 years old when Star Wars came out, so he was like the appropriate age for these type of movies, and that's why they hit with him more. Versus like me, when I grew up in the 90s, so all the 90s movies and stuff like the Disney Renaissance movies, those are my classics because I grew up with them, so I get that. It's different for different people. But for me personally, I gotta tell you, the Rogue One teaser trailer, which had a lot of footage in it, I really dug, actually. It was a really good trailer. I liked the way it was shot. Some of the cinematography was just absolutely gorgeous, and it looked way better than Force Awakens, and I liked Force Awakens quite a bit. This one felt like a war film. It was very dreary and dreadful, and there's a lot of battle scenes going on. It looks like shit's going to go down, and I cannot wait to see it. Felicity Jones looks cool. Forrest Whitaker looks really amazing. Ben Mendelsohn looks like a menacing dude, and it looks like you do not want to cross this guy's path. I love Ben Mendelsohn. If you guys have not seen Bloodline on Netflix, watch it. Second season comes out next month. But Ben Mendelsohn looks great in it. Forrest Whitaker looks great, and Felicity Jones. I'm not here to theorize or whatever on specific characters or the way it's stored. I don't know how any of it's going to tie into anything. I just know that if you're not familiar with Rogue One is a standalone Star Wars film that will focus on the rebels stealing the Death Star plans from Darth Vader right before the fourth movie. So it's like the story takes place right before A New Hope. That's where it kind of falls into. But yeah, it looks good. I really like it. Nice, cool looking war film for Star Wars. I'm all on board. And I really love the music. I know no one's really talking about it, but the music that they use for when the title pops up, that was really good. Now listen, me not being a Star Wars nut like most people, that could be a piece of music from A New Hope, and I'm just dumb enough not to realize. But the music that was used for the trailer, I'm assuming it's for Rogue One. It was really cool. It was like a war theme, and I was like, dude, I'm totally hooked just with the score. So I don't know if that happened with you guys where the score kind of affected you at the end, but for me personally, as a non-hardcore Star Wars fan, I love that little piece of music that happened for 5 seconds. It was awesome. So that just means I hope the whole score is amazing. And I know it's kind of weird to like take. That's like the number one thing you take out of a Star Wars film was like, the score was quite scrumptious and scrumdiddlyumptious. I know it's weird, but I really like the music. I don't know, it's weird. So, what are your favorite trailers that dropped this week? I'm assuming it's Rogue One. Comment in the place where I'm on my face and let me know if you're excited for Rogue One, as well as me. I'm excited for it. A lot of people get that misconstrued. They're just like, well, you're not a hardcore fan, so you don't really like it. I do like it. It's just I cling on to another genre that I'm a hardcore fan of. So, it's this is the way it goes. All right, so let's get into the first review of the episode, Demolition. Now, the trailers are gone, the movie news are gone, so we're going to dive deep into these movies, the Demolition, Hardcore Henrys. We're going to get down and dirty with this shit because there's a lot to say about both, a lot of goods, a lot of bads. But I hope I can break this down as best as possible. Okay. Demolition. So I saw Demolition at South by Southwest. It was really cool because the director, Jean-Marc Vallée, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Jean-Marc Vallée, he came onto the stage. Jake Gyllenhaal came on the stage, which was really cool because I've been a huge fan of him since Bubble Boy and Donnie Darko and stuff. So it was really cool to see Jakey G on stage and stuff. I didn't really know what to expect because I saw Dallas Buyers Club, Jean-Marc Vallée's first kind of big hit movie that kind of busted him out of the gate. I mean, he's done movies before, but like this was like the first one that'd be like, oh, Matthew McConaughey won an Oscar and stuff. He's slightly responsible for it. I never saw Wild with Reese Witherspoon, so right now he's 1 for 0 right now because I really like Dallas Buyers Club. It's very heartbreaking, but it was a really well-constructed film. It's very emotional, and I thought everything just kind of melded well together, including the acting and just the way it was pieced together as a story. Demolition. I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I first saw it, when the movie was over with, I was with my buddy and his wife, Scott and Ashley Menzel, and I was like, it was okay. But I'm leaning towards the more like than dislike, but I thought it was okay. But the more I thought about it, the more I really appreciated it. And now it's not going to be a high grade movie for me. It's going to be like a pretty good movie type of grade. Should I ask you to go see it in theaters? I don't know. I'll see how I feel when I describe it out. So I do like it overall. I think it's pretty good. So let's get real and break this down. So let's start with the writing and directing. Let's start with the writing. So, excuse me, I ate a bunch of donuts before this, so that might be why I'm about to explode. All right, so with the writing, the story goes as this. I pulled it up just to make sure I can get this right for you guys. The synopsis reads as this. As an investment banker struggles after losing his wife in a tragic car crash, his increasingly confessional series of letters to a vending machine company catch the attention of a customer service rep with whom he forms an unlikely connection. Now, when you read that, you're just like, this sounds a little weird. It is very strange, but after thinking about it, I do like the overall story to the movie because it focuses on Jake Gyllenhaal's character, and he loses his wife, and he's very lackadaisical about it. So he doesn't know how to feel. Like, he's trying to live his life and just, kind of hide his emotions and stuff, because that's just how he is. And he didn't really love his wife at the beginning of the movie. And you're like, well, that's kind of shitty for you to say, but towards the end it gets better. But this movie's about grief, and it's about loss. And now I've seen plenty of movies like that, but the cool thing about this one is it takes it like in a darkly comedic approach almost, with still hard-hitting themes throughout. So I thought the story overall was very creative for that type of theme, because I haven't really seen that before. So it kind of threw me off guard with the tone. That's why I was a little hesitant after the end of the movie. But once I thought about it, I was like, yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's got a lot of funny moments. It's got a lot of sincere moments, a lot of hard-hitting truth moments, a lot of themes going on. And like towards the end, there's a lot of like really hardcore emotional stuff. And you would think it doesn't mix well, but when you watch it, it's kind of good actually, because when he loses his wife, he's kind of like an unstable type of character. And so was the movie in a sense. It was kind of unstable. It was kind of like going from this tone to this tone, but we're kind of going through this type of emotional roller coaster with his character. And I kind of felt that with him. So I thought the story and the tone and the way the dialogue and everything was put together, I thought it was really well handled. I love the twist on the whole loss and grief type thing. Now, some of the characters, not gonna lie, are kind of unlikable, but that didn't really bother me that much, because at the end of the movie, when Jay Gyllenhaal has one of his final monologues or whatever, it kind of was hard hitting on just what it means to love someone and whatnot. It was really endearing and stuff. So writing wise, it is very great, even though I can see where people might go, they're a little unlikable. I get it. Directing wise, I think Jean-Marc Vallée is 2 for 0 right now for me. I think this is a really well done film in terms of the way it's constructed, put together, and it flows very well. So he does a very good job. Acting wise, here's the catch on this movie. Everyone besides me thinks that Jake Gyllenhaal was better than the movie. I am the opposite. I like the movie more than him. Now, is it because of his character or his performance, you may ask? Jake Gyllenhaal is great in this movie, but I wouldn't go as far to say it is like fantastic, like a Nightcrawler, or extraordinary, like a Southpaw. He was great. He served the role. I think he was okay, and I think the story was very good. So I'm the opposite train as everyone else, but that's what I saw. But his performance is good. It's fine. But the story, I think, is better than Jake Gyllenhaal, even though he's not terrible by any means at all. Everyone else does really great. Naomi Watts, she plays a nice supporting role. Chris Cooper's in there. He was really good. I liked his character. So there's some really great performances from the supporting cast as well, even though people go to see this movie for JKG. Let's keep it real and tight here. So acting all around is fine. Cinematography-wise, it's really well handled. It's shot well. It's clean. There's really nothing extraordinary about the way it's shot. Here are some of the cons with the cinematography. After seeing Dallas Buyers Club, I realized that Jean-Marc Vallée likes to use a lot of handycam. That's fine. I get that. But there's a few shots and a few scenes where it's too boat heavy. It's just rocking back and forth and shit. It's like, you can calm that down a little bit. Other than that, it's a well-shot movie. It's fine. There's just a couple scenes I was like, can we tone it down on the shaking, please? Okay. So there's that. Editing-wise, the movie, since I got the IMDb pulled up, the movie is, it's an hour and 40 minutes long. I think it flows by pretty well because the movie starts out with a bang. It fucking hits you in the face and you're like, whoa, how is this movie going to end and where am I going to go from here? So I think the curiosity factor about the character and the story and just where everyone's going to end up is very intriguing until the very, very end. So I think it's really well paced and stuff, and I didn't really find any slow parts to it and stuff. I was really engaged and really kind of focused in on this story because I was like, man, how is this going to end and what's going to happen to Jake's character and stuff? So I was all on board for everything. Overall, guys, this is a pretty good movie. I think it's a different take on loss and grief, which is very refreshing. Some of the characters are a bit unlikable, I will agree, but that doesn't really bother me that well. The acting is fine, even though I think the story overplays the acting a little bit. It's shot well, a couple shaky shots. I think it's paced pretty well. I think it's a solid film. Should you go see this in theaters? If you are a Jake Gyllenhaal fan, I still think you should see this movie just to judge it for yourself. If not, if you're kind of iffy on it, I would say just wait for Redbox, to be honest with you. But if you are a Jake Gyllenhaal fan and your morbid curiosity strikes you with this one, go see it. I would recommend it. So I'm going to give Demolition a B+. Very solid movie. Really enjoyed it at South by Southwest, so I hope you will too. All right, let's jump into the second review of the episode, and the one that everyone's probably asking for, Hardcore Henry. Okay. This is going to be a really strange one. So I saw this movie, I walked out, and I was like, oh dear Lord, I'm never going to experience anything like that ever again. Let me take a drink. Here's the catch. Would I see this movie again? No. Did I have a lot of fun watching it as I was in the theater? Yes. This is a theater experience. One and done. See it in the theaters. Never have to see it again. I think that's how I'm going to take the approach on the movie, because a lot of people in my my Dallas critic bubble, especially Carrie Darling from the Forward Star Telegram, absolutely fucking hated it. Joel Copeland, which is one of the best writers out there for a film critique, he absolutely fucking hated it too. I had a lot of fun with myself, but it is a one-time theater experience for me. I don't want to ever watch it again. So with that being said, let's get real and break this down. So let's start with the writing and directing. Now, the way this movie is written, it is not like, a movie you go, well, hot damn, that story was just A-okay with me, son. No, it was a fine story to carry from point A to point B. That's all it is. Plain, simple, whatever. The one thing that kind of bugged me is that you didn't really know much about the villain or just what his plans were and stuff. Like they explain it a little bit, but they never dive deep into it. Now, on a side note, at the screening I was at, I did receive a comic book called Hardcore Aiken, who is the villain of the film. So it's kind of like a prequel to it, and we kind of see more of his backstory. The comic looks cool and everything, but why couldn't you put that in the fucking movie? So whatever. But you're not really there to see the story. I just want to tell you guys that the story is like, it's whatever. It's the main character, Henry, he doesn't talk, so he's basically played by a stuntman, and Charlton Copley is the person that guides him through this movie. I actually like that. That's fine with me. I don't really want Henry to be talking because we're seeing it from his POV the entire time. And just let you guys know, if you don't know how this movie is shot, it's all shot on a GoPro from first-person point of view on the main character. The whole movie's like that. And it's not all one take. It's in cuts. So for all those people that are asking, that's what it is. So anyways, back to the characters. The villain, very underdeveloped, one-note, dimensional. Charlton Copley was very fun to watch. He looked like he was having a lot of fun in the movie. And Henry doesn't really have much going on in the stories, whatever. Now, directing. Here's where I flip. And people are just like, oh my God, this review is very confusing. I think the direction is pretty masterful, actually. The action sequences, the choreography, the stunts, the violence, all of it is constructed so well. It's like someone conducting an orchestra of chaos. It was amazing. I referenced another movie to Hardcore Henry, and I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to preface by saying this. Mad Max Fury Road is a better film. Just calm down, internet. But it's got the same type of feel to it, where it's really chaotic in nature. It's so just ridiculous and over the top, but it flows very well for some weird reason. So I think direction-wise on Hardcore Henry, I think it's masterful, man. Like, all these action sequences are done so well. I got to give the director props for it. It was so visceral. You are submerged into this experience, as you should, because you are the POV of the main character. So I will say, directing-wise, it is very well done. Story-wise, writing, not so much. But you don't really go for the writing and story, so let's keep it real. Acting-wise, is anyone like gonna win an Oscar for this? Fuck no. But everyone was having fun. That's the best I can say about it. Moving on. Sharlto Copley looked like he was having fun. Moving on to the cinematography. I think with the orchestration of the action, the violence, and the choreography, 95% of the cinematography is really well handled. I loved it. It was just so chaotic, and I was so involved into it. Even though I've heard that some people couldn't really handle it because of the motion sickness, I totally get that. I hope no one does get sick from this movie. But if you do, I feel really bad because that's something that no one should go to the theater and get sick for, you know? So, but yeah, cinematography-wise, 95% of it is great. It's brutal. It's visceral. It is exciting. I loved it. The other 5%, too damn shaky. There's a couple parts where the camera's like flying around everywhere, and like it's like, okay, can we just like calm down just for a hair? But other than like a few scenes, especially towards the end, the ending battle was amazing. It was over the top and ridiculous, and it was a gore fest. But some of the shaky cam on the POV of it, just too much. Editing-wise, this movie is, let me pull up the IMDb, is 96 minutes. It is one of the shortest movies I've seen in quite some time. It flies by. However, if you are not into found footage movies or POV movies, you will absolutely fucking hate this movie to death. This movie it will cause you motion sickness. It is all over the place in terms of the way it's shot and stuff because it is POV. If you do not like found footage or these type of movies, you will absolutely fucking hate this movie, and it will drag on for you or make you sick. So I would not recommend it to people that do not appreciate those movies. Because I'm kind of with you guys on some of them. There's a few movies where it is too much, and I don't get sick or anything, but it's too much to a point where like I can't enjoy myself watching it. So I totally get it. But for me personally, the hour and a half, it flew by because I was interested to see the next action set piece. So overall, guys, this review is going to be very confusing. But just hear me out. I had fun. It was violent. Loved it. Loved the action sequences for the most part, unless it was too shaky. The choreography was badass. The violence was really cool to watch. The story's very The acting, they look like they're having fun. Most of the cinematography is really well handled, and it really kind of puts you into the movie. 5% of it is absolutely garbage. Editing-wise, if you do not like those type of movies, not going to work for you. And I thought it was really well paced, and it was just a chaotic rhythm. Loved it. I saw it in theaters. Loved it. Had a fun time. Don't want to ever see it again. And that does factor into my grade is rewatchability. I don't want to ever watch this movie again. But I think as a one-time theater experience, I had fun. So that's why I'm going to give Hardcore Henry a B-. Now listen, I would suggest you go see this in theaters. And if you hate it, don't ever watch it again. That's great. Fantastic. If you go to theaters and you like it, don't watch it again. It's just, I think it's a theater experience because I feel like if you got this on Blu-ray or DVD and you watched it at home, it wouldn't have the same impact. You just want to shut it off because you're just like, okay. Because at least in the theater, like you're forced to like sit there and watch it. So that's why I kind of enjoy myself with it. But B-, never want to watch it again. So rewatchability on this thing is poop-tastic. So have you seen Demolition or have you seen Hardcore Henry? Comment in the place right on my face and let me know. All right, so let's move into the last portion of the episode, guys, and that would be the box office results. All right, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Okay, let's look at the full weekend chart. Okay, just to let you guys know, Demolition came out in 854 theaters, and it made $1.1 million. Not too bad for that type of movie. So You know, it's not terrible. Hardcore Henry came in at number 5 with $5 million. Its budget is unknown, but they probably made it for a payday bar and a laundry coupon. I wish they should use that coupon. Don't let it go to waste. Domestically, which is the U.S. and Canada, it's got $5 million, and worldwide, it's got $7 million. Not bad for that type of movie opening weekend, so I give it props. Number 4, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 was $6.4 million, and right now it is 46 domestic and 70 worldwide. So, yay! Let me see what the first one did. The first one, its budget was $5 million, and it made 368 worldwide. Yeah, the first one kicked all kinds of ass, but the second one looks like it's nosediving really, really hard. All right, number 3, Zootopia. So glad it keeps going, man. I love Zootopia. It's one of my favorites of the year so far, with 14 million. This is insane. Zootopia domestically has 296 million. It's going to hit that 300 million by at least next weekend, or if not during the week. And worldwide, it's at 852. I think with the word of mouth and just the way it's going and stuff, it's got 148 more million to go. I think it actually could do $1 billion. And it's getting a lot overseas. Like the foreign total is 556 and stuff. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. Zootopia is a perfect movie. It is a great animated film for all ages, kids, adults. Everyone's going to get it. It's very mature. Loved it, loved it, loved it. But 852 worldwide? Damn! Okay. Number 2, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice with 23,435,000. And you guys are like, you don't ever say the rest of the numbers, Chase. I get that, but keep that number in mind because I'm going to play out the first pick in just a second. So Batman v Superman, 23.435. Right now, domestically, it's at 296, which is the same amount as Zootopia, which is hilarious. And worldwide, it's at 783. Its budget is 250, but this movie with marketing and stuff, WB has said it needs to make at least $1 billion to break even. It'll break even, but it won't go anything beyond that. So yeah, there's that. And then number 1 is The Boss with 23,480,000. So The Boss, as of right now, because these are the projected numbers for the weekend, even though the actuals will come out tomorrow, and Batman v Superman could bump that up. So as of right now at this recording, The Boss is number 1 at 23,480,000. And that is, let me do the math real quickly, in my head, $45,000 more than The Boss. So that's so small, Batman v Superman can jump up to number 1 by tomorrow. Domestically, The Boss has got 23 million. Worldwide, it's got 24 on a budget of 29, so it needs to make about 58 to break even with the marketing. I want to say 65 million, maybe 60 million. Sure. It's running the same kind of pattern as Spy did, and Spy didn't do really well. It's like first week or so. It still had a lot of money to make up on, but it eventually made profit, so it's probably going to do the same thing. Okay, guys, that is it for the box office results. And guys, that's it for the show. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in for episode 125. We went over some movie news, some trailers. We went over the reviews of Demolition and Hardcore Henry and stuff. And I want to know all your thoughts and everything throughout this episode. And that comment place where open my face and let me know, because I do respond to you guys. I like talking to you. So yes, thank you for tuning in for this week. Next week for 126, what are we doing? Looking at the list. Okay, Jungle Book. And that's it. I'm not going to see Barbershop 3. Don't have a desire to see it. Not going to see Criminal. Sorry. Green Room is limited, but that doesn't open wide until the end of April. But I will have that review at the end of April. Jungle Book is the only thing coming out, basically, that I want to see. So you guys for sure will get the Jungle Book movie review for next week's show, and they'll have the trailers and the movie news and stuff. So it might be a shorter episode, but you know, I might bring a guest on to draw it out a little bit. But the Jungle Book will probably be the only thing I review next week, so I'm really excited to see that one and review that for you guys. So if you are watching on YouTube and you want an audio-only version of this podcast, link will be in the description below. If you're listening on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, iTunes, or SoundCloud, and you want a video version, link will be in the description below. I cannot thank you guys more every single week. You guys are the most badass listeners ever. You guys are awesome. You guys keep me going, keep me motivated. I love you all. And hey, listen, if you listen to this entire movie podcast and you were not a movie fan, well, hopefully I convinced you to be one. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next week for another episode of Real Me and Colin, a movie podcast. The intro and outro music is done by my friends band Fervent Roze. They're blowing up in Dallas, so go check them out in the link in the description below. I'm going to play their music right now. You guys are so badass. See you next week. Peace out.